Hello, I'm Lisa of Wee Crafty Crow. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today I'm going to share, this is a tangle that I taught the other day. Well, not so much a tangle, but rather I created more of a reticula and put some of the kind of tangles in and around that. This is something that I kind of created while I was putting a blog post together. Easy for me to say. I was going to put a roundup post together, some of my favourite Christmas tangles that I've seen before. There's Barbara Langston in there, Kelly Bluen's Little Gonk that she created one Christmas. There's quite a few different ones. But when I was watching Barbara Langston's, she showed this compass rose. She didn't demonstrate it, she just kind of showed it at the very start of one of her snowflake tutorial videos. She had this compass rose. I think from memory that hers had the northeast, northwest and all those different points in it, as well as just the four main ones. But something about it made me think, oh, if I just have that as a star, that's kind of quite Christmassy. So I kind of used this as the kind of tutorial for today. So I thought I would just go over that for my YouTube channel just now. So what I'm going to create just now is a little bit different from this. As you can see, this one was done on Zentangle, Renaissance Zentangle tile. I also created it, the highlight on this one's actually in the wrong place because I feel like in this case I think the points should be up and down and left and right, but I've done it as if it's kind of like that. But you know, there's no up and down in Zentangle, so, and no mistakes and all that. So that's the way I did it as a variation. You can obviously see the first time around there wasn't any of the Knight's Bridge and the edges of the star. A variation here, when I was kind of playing around with ideas, I put I Can Too as a kind of tangle there. Obviously as well you can see this is Lokar, which I'm going to demonstrate today, but it's just a variation on it where instead of having the needle points, they're more of a straight edge at the end. So I'm just going to get started with this today. If you have this Zentangle creator, Mandala Builder by Zenlinea, that would help you. You can also download, it's free from Zenlinea's website. You can also use the Marcus Operandus from Zentangle's website as well. Again, entirely free. I'll put the links to both of them in the description for this video. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit just so you can see exactly what I'm doing on this. So in the context of the Zenlinea Mandala Builder, you can see that the outer edges here are kind of pink. I'm going to just draw a line that goes from the top here. I'm going to try and create as straight a line as I can that will come down to hopefully the halfway point on the bottom side. It doesn't have to be exact. And in fact, I might even break with the Zentangle tradition and erase some of these lines later. But it's not for, you know, Zentangle when they say no mistakes and there are no erasers and all that kind of thing. That's more from the point of view of if you think you've made a mistake and you're tangling. This is just, you know, an initial string line. So now we're going from the bottom left corner to the top right. I'm trying to kind of make sure that you go right through the centre here. And just doing that in the opposite side here. And like you see, you know, I'm not doing these lines all in the one big stroke necessarily. I mean, if you feel confident doing that, by all means, just go for it, do that. But you don't need to do it that way. You can kind of just do it smaller strokes as you go. So I'm coming in here with my Lumos pen, which has a Lumos 0.3 nib, which I believe is about equivalent to an 01 or an 02 in micron terms. So I'm going to create a compass rose, just the four main points in the compass rose. So this line goes from the centre, but it kind of goes further out as you get to the centre here. And then do that on the other side. Just do this on all 4 sides so that we end up with a 4-sided star. I think that's gone slightly squinty, but you know, as I'm always saying, it's never about perfection in Zentangle. It's just about taking the time for yourself and drawing nice and slow and deliberate. Okay. So originally when I drew this tangle, I had a gem in the middle of it. Just wondering whether I want to have a gem in it this time or not. I think I'm going to come back in with my pencil and just put in a rough shape here. Now you can see that my sides are definitely not all the same sizes, but it doesn't matter. It does not matter at all. Okay, and so then I'm going to come back in with my ink and then retrace those pencil lines. Remembering that that initial string that we've put down is there as a guide. You don't have to be beholden to that. I think because I drew everything a bit squint, it's less than perfect. But I don't really care. So now I'm going to ink over this circle-ish shape. And when you look at these original ones that I've done, you can see that I put the shattuck here on both sides. I think if you normally would look at a compass rose, the idea is that only half of each of these points is coloured in. So that's the way I'm going to treat it on this particular tile that I'm doing today. So I'm going to start just at the bottom here and put a curved line, which I'm going to aura, just until I come down into as far as I can go, and then turn that around and come out the opposite way. And then obviously as you get nearer to the tip of that star, these individual curved bits are getting smaller and smaller. So you'll not have as much space each time for putting in individual lines. It's really weird. Like, I used to hate doing the shattuck pattern. I don't know why, but I used to find it quite challenging. I don't know if it was just because I hadn't done it the way that I was drawing it before. I was drawing it slightly differently. I think I was trying to start each bit coming out here, and for some reason I didn't find I had as much control over what I was doing. But I really like the look of shattuck, so something made me kind of persevere with it, and every once in a while I would go back to it, and now I can honestly, hand on my heart, say it is one of my favourite tangles. I use it a lot. Let's put that the wrong way, but it doesn't matter. It's funny the change that you get in a tile when you just don't do both sides of these star points. Changes the look quite a lot. And I can't actually believe that I'm talking about Christmas and knowing that Christmas is actually this month. It's really quite surreal at the minute, but I have to say I am feeling quite Christmassy this year. My daughter has just turned 5 last month, and it was the Christmas lights switch on here, so she got to meet Santa yesterday, and it's all excitement. So I'm quite enjoying doing all these festive tiles here. So around the edges here, I did the Tangle Locar, which I saw Zentangle demonstrating fairly recently on one of their project packs. So it starts out, the way that I'm going to do it here, it looks to me like a needle on a Christmas tree, just going up there over the top and then slightly curving it out here. And then the idea is we're going to create another needle behind that one. It looks as if it's hiding beneath it. Then we're going to create like almost a set of weaved needles. I don't know whether, when Zentangle created this, I don't know whether they kind of had it in mind that it was going to be a botanical shape or whether it was just quite random. But when I was thinking about Christmassy patterns and all that kind of thing, I thought that Locar just reminded me of the needles on a Christmas tree, so it's really quite nice. Excuse me. So on this other side of the star here, I'm going to do the exact same thing but in the opposite direction. We've got that needle disappearing under here. And this is a really straightforward tangle, but I did do it at one point and I wasn't quite focused enough, and I found that I was drawing, instead of going up the way here, I was going down that way and I was getting all messed up. So I think it's one of these tangles that is, like I say, it's simple, but it's kind of, you do need to focus on what you're doing. So I love that. So I'm just going to go around all of these 4 star edges. So yeah, it was lovely yesterday. The village that we live in, we're in Scotland for anybody who doesn't know. We live in a village in Scotland and they had a pipe band parade, so that Santa, his arrival was marked in style. It was really good. I don't know what other people from other countries feel about bagpipes, whether it's an annoying sound or whether people love it, but to me, I love the sound of bagpipes. It makes me feel very patriotic. And Isla's quite new to, Isla, my daughter, she's quite new to bagpipes and all that kind of thing. It's not the first thing I think of when I think about Christmas, but nice nonetheless. And then there would be another needle there. So we're almost done with this. Just one little bit left to fill in. And then we'll get on with some shading. This low-car tangle is quite new to me. I mean, I've been tangling since 2017 and I don't think I'd ever seen it before until whenever the project pack was that came out recently. It was the one with the illuminated letters, I think. And I just thought it was quite different from some of the other ones that I'd seen. Actually, I think now that I've seen the anthology, which is a book, for people who don't know, it's a book that certified Zentangle teachers receive once they're certified as a Zentangle teacher, the anthology of different tangles that have been created by Zentangle HQ. And this perhaps maybe bumper that I've just drawn here, and low car is bumper but on two sides of a branch, if that makes sense. But whatever the name is, I just love it. I think it's really, really nice. So I'm going to go now to do some just rubbing this out. And you don't have to do this necessarily at home. It's not about rubbing out mistakes. It's just because I'm going to add some colour into the middle here. I'm going to add some pastel pencil. When I did this on my blog post, and when I did one after my blog post in the blue colours, I actually filled in this centre section with regular colouring pencils. Today I'm just going to use this pastel pencil to shade this in a little bit. So I've got that pencil down, and now I'm just going over the top of it, smoothing that into the paper. It's maybe not quite as rich of a Zen gem as the one that I have here, but I think it still looks quite effective, especially when I put in the highlight at the top. I still think it was quite effective. I just thought when I'm doing it on the camera on YouTube, it just kind of minimises the amount of time, because I'm aware that because I don't speed things up and it's kind of all done in real time, it might kind of get a bit boring for people. So I'm trying to minimise all that kind of aspect of things. So I'm going to move on now to the bits here where I've got Shattuck. I'm going to shade at the edges here. I'm going to actually go round that full circle. And then any place where I've got the Shattuck pieces, I'm going to go all around all those three edges. And I'm also going to go around the individual shattuck shapes, because that can be quite effective for shading as well. Just have a sip of tea. So now I'm picking up my Tortillon blending stump for the graphite pencil. Just kind of gently smoothing that out. And then also these bits here. Trying not to bring the graphite out too much that we end up losing the highlights that we do have. And then I'm going to ease out this graphite in the centre as well. So we're almost done with this bit, with the shading. I'm going to put in the tips of these low-car bumper needles. Just putting a little bit of graphite in there. What I like about this Christmas compass rose idea is that you can make it look very festive, or it can be just another everyday tangle. It's quite adaptable. Okay, so now I've done that, I'm just going to repeat that exact same process that I did before with the blending stump, just teasing all of that graphite into the paper and along the paper as well, and towards that star. So that's me done with the shading pretty much. And the last thing that I'm going to do, this is a kind of an optional thing that you can choose to do or not do. I'm going to put little, like almost berries, not in every single gap here, just in some of them, just as a kind of nod to something festive. Some of them are going to defy logic because that one should probably not balance there very well, but it's a tangle, it's not actually something natural. And then what I'm going to do with the individual berries is that I'm going to have them coloured in with this. It's a Signal pen, Uniball Signal, in red, but it's a metallic-y red. And I'm going to do almost like I did with the centre Zen Gem, except I don't need to smooth it out with it being a pen. I'm just going to leave a section of it where I haven't coloured it in at all. And I think that that's going to look quite effective. You could fill in your berries all the way if you like. Different people will do different things, won't they? So what I would usually do with my tiles is that I would finish off whatever tangle I'm working on, and I'd quite often go around the edges of all the individual spaces and tangles. I don't think I'm going to bother doing that today. Feel free to explore with your own tile, and whether you, I mean, you might have ended up deciding not to put locar. You might go with the compass rose but put something different around the edges, or maybe you're exploring locar but doing something else elsewhere. It doesn't really matter. It's just about doing whatever you want to do for your tangle. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put, just wondering what I've done with my Lumos, here it is here. I'm going to put my chop down here, and then I think I might call that finished. So I hope you enjoyed that, if you've watched along all the way to the end here, and I will probably do another couple of Christmassy things. We'll kind of see, because they've got Advent Tangle out just now, so there might be some inspiration from that. Or I might do something different altogether. But I wanted to do something fairly festive. So once more, I'll just show you the different variations. So what we created here today is this one. This is the one that I created after doing my blog post. And then I've got this one here, was the one that I featured in the blog post. And I did this one prior to doing the blog post. So there are a few different options for this. You can do it on Zentangle tile, you can do it on a square tile, you can do it on an other surface altogether. But I'd love it if you could share with me if you have tangled along. I'd love it if you could show me what you come up with. And I hope you enjoyed it all. And subscribe if you haven't already so that you don't miss out on any future videos that I post. So thank you very much, and I'll hopefully see you soon. Bye.